Hi there guys, the point in this video is that this is a really great direct solution via an impulse response, both live into a PA or into a recording interface as I'm doing in this video. I'm actually going to show you some live footage as well, where I use this on a recent solo gig straight into a pair of QSC K10s, and I think it sounds great. Those people that have been subscribed a while may remember this product in the form of the Revival Trem. That was its original name. It was rebranded to the Deluxe 61 some years ago, almost straight away after I made that video, in actual fact, probably about 2021. That's what it said online anyway. And I think that makes a lot of sense because I think people were confused about what that product was. I think they thought it was just a tremolo pedal. In fact, that might have been the title of my video. This is not just a trem or something to that effect. I believe one of the only tweaks, if not the only tweak, between this and the Revival Trem is that they've given you more output. Now that would be really handy if you're using this as the preamp into your amp's effects return. You would need your preamp to drive the power amp section harder in order to get more volume out of it, and I believe that that's what they've changed on here. Everything else I think remains exactly the same. In the intro jam, I did combine the Deluxe 61 with a J-Rocket The Dude pedal and an EP booster, which I also did in my live gig, which I'm going to play you some footage from right now. And the rig is this combined with my NUX Cerberus, which is another pedal that's been sent to me. And it has an impulse response loader built right into that, along with reverbs and delays and a tuner, which is pretty much all I was using it for on that gig. You can get a really good rootsy blues sound using this direct to PA, and that is one of the tricky sounds to get, I think, in the fake amp world. Just for full disclosure here, I actually found that I got slightly better sounds for drive when I didn't use it in power amp mode. So there's a 3-position switch on here that allows you to flip between power amp mode, which you would use for going into the effects return of an amplifier and just using the amp's power section and powering your cabinet, or you have your EQ section, EQ1 and EQ2, which is going for in front of either a Fender amp or a Marshall amp, and you've got your first one. EQ1 is better for a Fender amp, it's a little bit darker, a little bit more mid-forward, and EQ2 is a little bit more mid-scooped and perhaps a little bit brighter, and that's for going into maybe a Marshall style starting point where it is already a little bit more mid-forwards. So I found that using EQ2 was actually better for the impulse response for drive sounds because it rolls off. It just it's not shelving. It's more like a low pass. You've got a bit of a low pass filter happening in the highs, and it just got rid of some of the fizziness. You also have a control on here called the ADJ, which allows you to. It's like a global tone almost. It's a little bit more complex than that, but it allows you to better adapt this to whatever you're putting it through. So I found if I put it on EQ2, which is a little bit darker than the power amp setting, but turn the ADJ up a little bit, you can get a little bit of a balance between those two things to get some better tones. I wanted to get one sound where I used only the gain from this and no other external pedals. And I decided to go with the rhythm sound for sort of an early ZZ Top tone. And the reason for that is they are quite famous for using the Brown Face Deluxe on some of the early recordings. I can't really think of a more famous example of that particular amp. If anybody knows, please post in the comments below. It's really easy with modelers to get great high gain tones. If you want crystal clean, there are various analog preamps that will do that, including my DSM Humboldt Simplifier. It can do really great cleans. But that natural edge of breakup thing, especially with the kind of compression that this gives you and the fact that it's a slower response, I find, again, the DSM to be way too immediate, too snappy. I dig in and it spikes at me, almost like I'm not going through a preamp, almost like I've just taken my, my output of my guitar and sticking it straight into a PA. This really does have a good feel about it, and I was able to play slide just using an EP booster in front of this and the NuX after it. This is actually running 4-cable method with the NuX, but that's irrelevant in this case because there were no pre-effects. Origin make a series of pedals that are very much like this. You have one based on the Magnetone, I believe. You have the Tweed Deluxe, the Revival Drive. I'm not quite sure what that's based on. It might be probably something more Marshall-y. Don't quote me on that. I've never actually tried that one. But they are all great for this purpose and I think really overlooked. Don't discount them. They feel great to play on. They look amazing. I think they're fantastic looking pedals. Origin really have a really unique thing going for them here. And I think that you'll enjoy playing through them into a PA. Playing into a PA through a modeler has a certain quality about it. I find that I'm able to play really fast when I play through a modeler. If I'm trying to play rock shreddy stuff, there's a degree of playing ease, and it might actually be better than using an amplifier in some regards. But when I want to play a more rootsy kind of gig, I find it incredibly difficult to dial in a modeler to a point where I'm convinced as the player. The audience are always convinced. The audience take very little convincing. But as a player, I need convincing in order for me to be able to play successfully on it. This just feels more natural, but it also feels easy to play on at the same time. This is the closest I've come so far to getting a rootsy blues sound straight out of a pair of PA speakers. I was really happy with my tone on that gig, and I hope you dug the recording of it. Thanks for watching the video, guys. Hope you got something from it, and we'll see you in the next one. Later.